What's up everybody and welcome back to the channel. Manchester United are back in action again in the Premier League. This time it's match day 15. We are up against Nottingham Forest at home at Old Trafford, 5:30 p.m. kickoff, and manager is Nuno Espirito Santo. On the 20th of December 2023, Espirito Santo was appointed head coach of Premier League club Nottingham Forest following the dismissal of Steve Cooper. The side's first win under his tenure came on the 26th of December as they beat Newcastle 3-1. And also after that, it was followed by a 2-1 home win against Manchester United, which was Forest's first Premier League victory over the club in 29 years. So, of course, we know that Espirito Santo has previously managed well-known teams like Porto in 2016 to 2017. Then he also managed Wolves from May 2017 to May 2021, and then he managed Tottenham Hotspur for about 4 months from June 2021 to November 2021, and then he did have a spell at Al Ittihad in Saudi from July 2022 to November 2023. So on the 30th of June 2021, Tottenham Hotspur did announce Espirito Santo as the new head coach, and he signed a 2-year contract with an option to extend. However, after his team lost to Manchester United 3-0 at home, their fifth loss in 7 matches, which left them 9th in the table, Espirito Santo was dismissed after less than 4 months in charge, and he was replaced by Antonio Conte the following day. Of course, that loss to Manchester United at home was under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but of course Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was sacked like the next week as well after that loss to away from home against Watford. I do remember that game quite vividly. I do remember watching it. I think Ronaldo and Cavani scored, and I forgot who scored the other goal, but Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was under a lot of pressure that game because we had recently come away with heavy defeats to Liverpool, and then also a disappointing defeat to Manchester City as well. So at that point in time, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was under pressure, but he did manage to come away with all 3 points against Tottenham Hotspur away from home, and then that led to the sacking of Nuno Espirito Santo as Tottenham Hotspur manager. In terms of head-to-head last season against Nottingham Forest, we did win at home. This was early on in the season. We won 3-2 due to goals from Eriksen, Casemiro and Bruno. And then for Forest, Awoniyi and Bolly scored. This match happened on the 26th of August 2023, so early on at the start of the season. And then away from home, Manchester United lost 2-1. Like I said last season, this was Nuno Espirito Santo's second game in charge, and that was Forest's first win over Manchester United in 29 years. So and then we also played them in the FA Cup last season in the 5th round of the FA Cup, and we won that game 1-0 courtesy of Casemiro on the 28th of February. So last season in the league under Nuno, they did finish 17th with 32 points in the league, and they won a total of 9 games, 9 draws, 20 losses. They scored 49 goals, and they conceded 67 at a minus 18 goal difference as well. So you would think that this should be a routine win for Manchester United, because they were relegation. They almost got relegated last season had it not been for the other teams, the other 3 teams that got relegated. I forgot who got relegated. I think it was Luton, Burnley, and someone else I can't remember. But it was a pretty low point tally for a side finishing 17th. Usually 40 points is enough. Usually it's about the 40 point mark that teams have to achieve to actually stay in the Premier League. But Nuno finished 17th with 32 points, but of course right now they are above us in the league. In terms of some insights for the match, Manchester United have won 6 of their 7 Premier League home games against Forest, with the exception being a 2-1 loss in December 1994. Following the 2-1 defeat in December 2023, Forest are looking to win consecutive league games against Manchester United for the first time since April 1992. Manchester United have scored in all 14 of their Premier League games games against Forest, their joint best 100% scoring record against an opponent in the competition along Swansea City. Manchester United have won 3-0 against Leicester and 4-0 against Everton in their last 2 Premier League home games. They've not scored 3+ goals in 3 consecutive home league games since February 2021, while they last did so while winning each time in December 2018. So that's pretty interesting. Manchester United haven't scored 3+ goals in 3 consecutive home league games since February 2021, which I believe was under Ollie. I'm pretty sure it was under Ollie, yeah, because Ollie got sacked in November 2020. 21. So Nottingham Forest's last 2 Premier League games have been 3-0 defeats versus Arsenal and Manchester City, having won 5 of the 7 on the road before this. They lost 3 consecutive away league games by a margin of 3+ goals in April 1968, one of which was a 3-0 loss at Manchester United. So in terms of their recent form, Forest, they are coming away with a 3-0 loss to Manchester City midweek, and then before that, last weekend, they did beat Ipswich Town at home 1-0, but the week before, they did lose to Arsenal 3-0 away from home. But then before that, they also lost to Newcastle at home. And then they did beat West Ham a couple of weeks ago, last month 3-0. And then they also beat Leicester City as well. And then they beat Crystal Palace as well. So recently, though, they are coming away with a loss to Manchester City. But of course they did beat Ipswich the week before, and they lost to Arsenal away from home as well. So they did go to 3rd in the league after beating West Ham, and this was in November, at the beginning of November. So they are above us and they are having a decent season. I think I did have them to go down in my Premier League prediction video. Of course that's not happening. They definitely are staying up because they've accumulated enough points, and I think they are doing pretty well under Nuno Espirito Santo. In terms of team news, the Portuguese, Nuno Espirito Santo, who was Porto's goalkeeper when Amorim scored for Benfica in the 2010 Taça da Liga final, said that he still needed to assess the fitness of his squad. He will be without long-term absentees Danilo and Ibrahim Sanagra, though while Andrew Obamidele hasn't featured for the East Midlanders for a few months due to injury. In terms of the opposition lineup, this is what I'm predicting. I think this is pretty much who started against Forest in their last game as well, against I think Man City. So obviously you've got Sells in net, Anya, you've got Anya, Milenkovic, Morello and Moreno. Then CDMs, you've got Yates and Dominguez. Then up front, you've got Alanga, Gibbs White and Hudson-Odoi. Then of course Chris Wood up front, who has been scoring a couple of goals as well. They have got a decent attack. I think that front 4 is pretty dangerous. In terms of their low build-up phase, attacking-wise, they usually set up in a 4-2-3-1 formation, but they do have some nice rotations and fluidity, and they consistently rotate in the build-up and have a dynamic approach as well, shifting between formations to create numerical advantages and exploiting spaces. They often do create a back 3 while building up. This is quite common in the Premier League and around European and international football as well. We are seeing the back 3 more and more used in that build-up phase to kind of recirculate possession and keep possession of the ball. Also to stop that counter as well. If you've got both fullbacks pushing up and you're only playing with 2 centre backs, then that leaves a vast amount of space for 2 players to cover. So Espirito Santo also likes to drop in a holding midfielder between the centre backs to create a back 3 as well. Sometimes though the fullback does become a centre back as well, and then the other fullback then pushes into central midfield and push the other one up either on the wing or into midfield as well. So one of the fullbacks can go back into centre back, and then the other one then pushes into the wing or into midfield as well. Or he does like to drop that CDM into in between the centre backs to create that back three as well. So in terms of their direct build-up play, they do like to go for some early and long balls, sometimes to Chris Wood, rather than building up from short passes. They like that link-up play with the striker. So Santo uses Wood to link play when trying to break down the opposition defence more methodically, and he likes to create central overloads as well. They like attacking the half space, and they exploit the space between the opposition centre back and fullback, and they primarily do this through the wide areas, through underlaps from the attackers and midfielders. They also like to employ overlaps as well. The fullbacks create a 2v1 situation with the winger against the fullback, and that could be used to beat the fullback and create crossing opportunities as well. They usually do set up in a 4-2-4 low block as well, sometimes when they are trying to press as well. In the low press, when they are in a mid press, they do set up or defend in a 4-2-4, but in a low press, when they get pushed further back the pitch, they shift to a 4-4-2 as well. They have immense work rate. Their defending is pretty good. They are a organised and compact team, with every player contributing to defensive duties as well, and they defend the penalty area with the loads of bodies as well, squeeze the pitch as well. So to prevent his team from becoming too slow when defending, Santo wants his team to squeeze up the pitch as well. So it's pretty kind of decent tactics, with how everyone else is playing in the Premier League and around Europe as well. In terms of the summary of the tactics, I think they are going to set up in a mid to low block. They're not really going to look to press high usually. I think they're going to kind of drop back and allow Man United to kind of play out from the back. I think they may, if Man United do decide to play out from the back like they did against Arsenal and we have seen previously, then I do believe that they are going to sometimes press, but I think Man United will be able to play out that press like we did see against Arsenal most of the time, and then they are going to go back into that kind of mid to low block, that 4-4-2 mid to low block as well. So when they do like to win the ball, they are going to win the ball, and they're going to counter attack aggressively as well. So you're going to have the pace of Alanga, Gibbs-White and Hudson-Odoi on the counter-attack. Is going to be very dangerous. So in terms of their star man, I think I'm going to have to go with Hudson-Odoi. He's going to cause massive problems on the counter. Great dribbler, very dangerous, quality 1v1, and has a good shot on him as well. In 13 Premier League games, he has only scored 2 goals. He's provided 0 assists as well. So he's going to be looking to improve on that. I think he probably should have more goals and assists as well. But yeah, Chris Wood as well. Of course, he's been scoring some goals for them. So we need to keep him on locks as well. In terms of Manchester United, if we speak about them a little bit, we are coming away with a 2-0 loss, unfortunately, to Arsenal. And in terms to summarise that game, if I am to speak about it for a little bit, I think we were shite going forward. Really, like 5 shots, 2 on target, not great. 0 big chances created, a 0.22 XG, just not good enough. 6 touches in the opposition box, and Maguire got 2 of them, who's a centre back, and he played only 59 minutes as well. And all over the pitch, we didn't win enough duels. I did kind of go through the stats on FootMob, and I was just looking at the duels that we were losing. We weren't winning enough. Bruno Fernandes, especially in the centre of the pitch, only won like 2 out of 11 of his duels, I think. And Ugarte as well, he did probably was our best outfielder player, but even he won, I think, 9 out of 16. I want to be getting a little bit more duels won by Ugarte as well. In terms of our forward line as well, some questions need to be asked about our forward line. I'm talking about who started. Højlund, Mount and Garnacho, I think they all had 0 touches in the box. Rashford and Xerxes had 0 touches in the box, and Anthony had 1 touch in the box. That simply isn't good enough. So Højlund, Mount, Garnacho, Rashford, Xerxes and Anthony, all of them played minutes against Arsenal, and they were all bad. None of them really kind of struck out to me as having decent, good performances. And we need to be asking these questions, like, would these players get into a top 6 Premier League side? I'm genuinely curious, out of them 6 that I've mentioned, Højlund, Mount, Garnacho, Rashford, Xerxes and Anthony, which one of them would get into a Premier League side? I'm not sure if any of them would get into a top 6 Premier League side, top 6. And then you also have to ask the question, when was the last time we won away against a Premier League side as well? I don't remember the last time we won away at a top 6 Premier League side. It was probably in the Premier League, that is. It was probably under Oli, but I could be wrong. I'm not sure. There's only so much patience you can show these players before you admit they ain't good enough to take Manchester United back to the top of the Premier League. And, right now we are 13th, so yeah. Of course, the goals we conceded against Arsenal were poor, but we were non-existent, going forward. And even though Arsenal did, I have to admit, they used the dark arts in terms of kind of pinning Manchester United players from the corners really well. We really shouldn't be conceding them types of goals, because we know how they are going to play, and we know they're going to be looking for corners. We know how they're going to kind of pin our players, and kind of pressurize the keeper and the centre backs and the opposition when in our box. So we should have been ready for that. And also, if we did feel like as if we were being impeded from the 2 goals that we conceded, we should have taken it up with the referee. I think Højlund definitely got impeded for the first one, or one of them, I can't remember, but I think Saliba or one of them, or Timber, one of them, like, pushed Højlund in the back, and I think did impede him for one of the goals. But I'm not making excuses. We definitely deserved to lose that game 2-0 because we were basically non-existent going forward. So yeah, in terms of Manchester United's team news for this game, we are without Shaw, Lindelof and Evans, of course. So that's expected, same injuries as usual, but everyone else is pretty much fit to start. So let's have a look at my Manchester United lineup. This is it. So I've gone with Onana and net, of course. That picks itself. I want to see Euro's kind of first Premier League game or first start for Manchester United, simply because I thought he done pretty well defending the channel against Arsenal when he came on. Then of course, De Ligt and Martinez making up the other centre backs. I've pushed Mazraoui into the right wing back position. Then I'm playing Mainoo and Casemiro in the centre of the park, because of course Mainoo was suspended, Martinez was suspended as well, so I expect them to come back in. And then Casemiro as well, because he's not started in a couple of games, and I think we need that kind of. I think Ugarte needs a little bit of a rest, and I think usually at home Ugarte doesn't start many games, so Casemiro and Mainoo for that control, and then Casemiro as well with that experience as well. I think Mainoo is 19 and Casemiro is 32, so usually when they play, they've done all right together, but I have to say though, Ugarte and Casemiro are unbeaten in every single game that they have started together. I think it's 4 games. They were all under Ruud van Nistelrooy. We won 3 and then we drew 1 against Chelsea. But of course, we did take the lead against Chelsea. And, of course, being at home, we probably should have won. But yeah, we are unbeaten in all comps when Ugarte and Casemiro have started together in the centre of the pitch. And a surprise starter is going to be Garnacho. For, you may be thinking, why I've got Garnacho in the team. I particularly don't rate him that highly, but I do think that he could be. I want to see him at left wing back, basically. That's why I've put him in. Plus, I don't think Rashford can play there. I don't think anyone else can play there. So I've put, apart from Malacia as well, or Dalot, but I wasn't particularly impressed by Dalot. I don't think he's been that great. He's been okay, but I think he's been slightly exaggerated with regards to how bad he's been. I don't think he's been that bad, but I simply want to see Garnacho at left wing back, simply to see what he can do. Can it work? Can he play in that position? Does he have the positional awareness to play in that position? Because he's not done incredibly well kind of starting up front when he's been given that opportunity to play in that front 3. So I'd really like to see Garnacho given that opportunity at left wing back, and also because I want to see Ahmad pushed further forward. So playing Garnacho at left wing back allows Mazraoui to play at playing Garnacho at left wing back allows Mazraoui to push up into the right wing back position. It allows Euro to come in, but it also allows you to push Ahmad higher up the pitch, and he's been our main threat going forward the past couple of games. He's been our best player the past couple of games. So even against Arsenal, I think Ugarte and Ahmad were probably our best players. So I want to see how Ahmad does in this further forward position. I think it'd be interesting to see. And finally, of course, I've gone with Bruno playing in the other 10 position, then Xerxes up front as well. So in terms of this 3-4-2-1 formation, it can easily switch to a 4-2-3-1 as well. If you tell Mazraoui to drop back into that back three, then you've got a four. Then you tell Garnacho to push higher up, and go into line with Fernandez and Ahmad. It turns into a 4-2-3-1 very easily, and this is why I think Amorim likes to play a out and out winger in one of the wing back positions, so he can do this whether at right wing back or left wing back. I think he does like to play a more attacking one more attacking wing back and one defensive wing back as well. So that's why I've gone with Mazraoui at right wing back and Garnacho at left wing back. Personally, I wouldn't necessarily go with Garnacho at left wing back and then Ahmad at right wing back. I think that's a little bit unbalanced and a little bit too attacking. But it might be interesting to see. But personally, this is my lineup that I would go with simply because I want to see it. But I'm pretty sure that Euro isn't going to start. I'm pretty sure that Garnacho isn't going to start left wing back. But I could be wrong. Personally, like I said, this is the lineup that I want to see. Just for this game, see how it does, especially because I do want to see Ahmad pushed further forward, and then you can see that little that little square forming between Euro, Mainoo, Mazraoui and Ahmad. I think that could cook, I think that's pretty interesting to see. I think that right side looks pretty good in terms of footballing ability, and we could cook down the right side if we do start like that as well. So yeah, in terms of my star man for Manchester United, I'm gonna have to go with Ahmad again. I've been saying it for the past couple of games, and I've been saying it since the start of the season as well. He is probably like Manchester United's most underrated player. He has been Manchester United's probably most consistent outfield player as well, alongside Eriksen. I'm not sure if where Eriksen's gone. He was on the bench against Arsenal, unused sub. We could see him as well. But yeah, in terms of Ahmad, he's very underrated. He's coming up with goals and assists in the past couple of games as well. And so yeah, he's been playing really well. So he's my star man. In terms of how do you beat Forest, obviously pace, power, strength, unpredictability. You're gonna say that again. But we have to be careful of the counter attack. We have to contain their transitional threat. They are gonna break really quickly with the likes of Elanga, Gibbs White, and Hudson-Odoi. And they're no slouches. They are gonna be very quick on the transition, very quick in winning the ball and then getting forward really quickly. So we have to be careful of that transitional threat, and that's probably why Euro defending that channel, that 1v1 defending that we saw against Arsenal was really impressive. So I think he could help out in that regard defensively. In terms of the midfield battle as well, we need intensity in there. We need to dominate that midfield. Casemiro and Mainoo, I really want us to be holding possession and kind of picking them apart. We need to dictate the game from midfield as well. We need confidence on the ball, and especially we need touches inside the box. Like we only had 6 touches inside the penalty area against Arsenal. Like we have to be getting more touches inside the box. And we got to finish our chances as well, be clinical. Of course, I don't think I mentioned, I have gone with Xerxes up front. Simply because Xerxes didn't start against Arsenal, but I think also Xerxes does have really good link-up play as well, so he could get involved in that link-up play that we saw against Everton. Xerxes could do that again and bring others into play, and then kind of run himself after kind of laying off a pass to someone like Ahmad or Mainoo or someone, and then making that forward run. And then of course Xerxes could drop in to the midfield as well and kind of play that false 9 position. I think he plays it a little bit better than Højlund. I think when we did put the ball up to Højlund against Arsenal, the ball necessarily wasn't sticking really well with Højlund. So I think Xerxes against Everton was pretty decent in terms of his hold-up play and his link-up play. So that's why I've gone with Xerxes. So yeah, in terms of how do you beat them, like I said, we have to create chances. We have to get touches inside the penalty area. We've got to be clinical in front of goal as well. We have to be more attacking. In terms of finally, let's just have a quick look at the Premier League table. Obviously, it's not looking pretty right now. Before that, actually, let's just have a quick look at the predicted lineup that FootMob have gone with. I personally think this is the lineup that we are most likely going to see, and not my lineup. I could be wrong, But personally, I think this is the lineup that Ruben Amorim is going to go for. But personally, like I said, I wouldn't go with that. I would go with my lineup, which is right here, because I want to see... Oh, sorry, not that lineup. This lineup right here. This is what I would go with. Euro, I put in Euro in there. Put in Mazraoui at right wing back, Garnacho at the left wing back position, then Ahmad, Fernandez and Xerxes up front. This is that I would go with. But this is the lineup that FootMob have gone with, the predicted lineup, and like I said, this is most probably the lineup that we are going to see for this match against Forest. So yeah, finally, let's have a look at the Premier League table. It's not looking pretty again. We have dropped down to 13th position because I think it was Brentford and Newcastle who won. I think whoever played Thursday, whoever played yesterday, basically they won, I think, and then they went above us. So we were in 9th position. So let's just have a look. After that win against Everton, we did move into the top half of the Premier League and we went into 9th. But of course, after that loss to Arsenal, we have dropped down to 13th position. So Nottingham Forest are all the way up in 7th. So they are on 22 points and we are on 19. If we win, we would go to 22 points. We'd be on level on points with Forest, but it remains to be seen where we would be in the league, because the teams above us, of course, need to drop points as well for us to move up. So if we were to win, we would move above Forest because of our goal difference as well. So we'd be level on points with Forest, but we would move up. We would move above Forest in the league if we were to win. So yeah, I think it's pretty kind of imperative that we do win. We can't be like just sacking the season off because we're not getting top 4, because we are not getting top 4, let's be honest now. I think if we speak about the top 4 quickly, I think the top 4 is pretty much locked in. Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal and Man City. I think the top 4 is pretty much locked in, and we are not getting into the top 4. But like I said, we can't sack the season off and just be like, you know what, it's another write-off, let's give up in the league and let's finish fucking like 8th again or some shit. Nah, man, like we need to be finishing like obviously finishing 8th in the top half, but the bare minimum, like I've been mentioning, is I want to see us finishing in the top half of the league. A respectable league finish would be somewhere in the top half of the league. Like I did predict, I think I predicted 8th or 9th position finish in my Premier League prediction video. But I think we are kind of it all depends on tomorrow, really, doesn't it? If we win, then we definitely move up. We could be level on point. We are going to be level on points with Forest. But yeah, we can't just sack the season off because we're not getting top 4 or whatever. Because we're not getting into the top 4 because Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal and Man City are just better than us. So we're not getting into the top 4. But that doesn't mean to say sack the season off and just do another write-off. We need to be doing well in the league. And like I said, the bare minimum for me would be top half finish. That's the bare minimum that I'm looking for, because I believe our attack isn't necessarily that good. There is a reason why we finished 8th last season, and it's because we were the 8th best team in the league. The league table doesn't lie, even though I think it was on goal difference that we kind of missed out on 7th position, but whatever. The league table doesn't lie, and we were the 8th best team in the league last season, and I just want to be finishing in the top half of the league. I think it would be a decent season if we maybe finished. Obviously, we're not getting in the top 4, but if we finished 5th, Europa League, I'll take that. But in terms of end of season finishes and stuff, if you were to say if you were to give me right now, finish top half of the league, let's say finish 10th and win the Europa League, I think I'd take that. I would take that, even though finishing 10th isn't great and it would be our lowest finish in the Premier League. Winning the Europa League would mean that we would get into the Champions League, and that's the main kind of goal for the season, is to get into that Champions League. But yeah, we could finish 10th or win a cup competition like the FA Cup or the if we win the FA Cup, then we would go into the Europa League. I'm not sure I think in the League Cup, I'm not sure what the prize for European competition is for that. But yeah, if you were to offer me a top half finish and a Europa League trophy, you know, winning the Europa League, I'll take that. But yeah, so I think it's very important that we do pick up all 3 points tomorrow. In terms of my score prediction, I am going to go for a 4-0 Manchester United win. If my lineup starts, the lineup that I'm looking for, you know, Ahmad playing in that inside 10 position up front, in that three, Ahmad, Bruno, and Xerxes, up front. You know, if Ahmad does start there, then I'm going to go for a 4-0 Manchester United win. I think Ahmad is going to score a hat-trick, and then Xerxes is going to get another one. So yeah, that's just me in terms of if my team was to play. But yeah, in terms of what I think Ruben Amorim is going to go for, it's probably that lineup that I showed you with Dalot and Ahmad. You know, that's that lineup that we saw against I think who did we play last week? Everton. Yeah. So yeah, anyway, that's it from me. Hopefully we do get all 3 points against Nottingham Forest tomorrow. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe to my channel for more, and I'll catch you in the next one.